Hi everyone. This morning's story comes from the Old Testament. Did you know that God made you especially the way you are and made you that way for a reason? God has a purpose for you. He has a plan. He knows what he wants for your life. Now, in our story, the man called Jonah had a special job to do. God had made him for that reason. But he wasn't keen on that plan at all. Let's find out what happened to him. Here is Jonah. God had got a special mission for him. But he doesn't look very happy, does he? That's because God had told Jonah to go to Nineveh, a great city, and tell the people there that they were not following God's rule. God wanted to give them a chance to change their mind and do the right thing. But Jonah was not happy with this plan at all. He thought and he thought. He didn't want to go to Nineveh. He knew those people were big and scary. They might do something terrible to him when he came with that news. So he had a plan. He decided he'd run away from the Lord and head somewhere else. So he went down to Joppa and he found a ship that was sailing far away. He gave the captain some money, went aboard, and off they went. Well, they hadn't travelled very far when God sent a great wind on the sea, and a violent storm arose up, and the ship was tossing and turning this way and that. All of the sailors were so frightened. They threw all of their belongings into the sea to lighten the ship, to hope that it wouldn't crash. But where was Jonah? Jonah had gone below deck. He'd laid down and fallen into a deep sleep. The captain charged down below the ship to where Jonah was sleeping. "How can you sleep?" he shouted, shaking him. "Get up and call on your God. Maybe he'll take notice of us and nothing bad will happen." So Jonah got up and went onto the deck. The sailors all gathered together. "Who is responsible for making all of this trouble, for making this storm come?" Jonah said, "I think it is me." "What have you done?" they said. The sea was getting rougher and rougher. He explained that God had given him a mission and he tried to run away. They were terrified and asked him, "What should we do to make the sea calm down?" Jonah was brave. He told the people, "You need to pick me up and throw me into the sea, and then it will become calm. I know that it's my fault that this great storm has come." The sailors didn't want to do it, but the sea grew even wilder than before. So they picked up Jonah and threw him overboard. As soon as they did it, the sea grew calm, and Jonah went down, down, down into the depths. But that wasn't the end of Jonah's story. Oh no! Where is he now? Well, the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and here he is in the belly of that fish. He was there for 3 days and 3 nights, and inside that fish, Jonah had a think. Inside that fish, Jonah prayed, thanking God for rescuing him. And would you believe it? God commanded the fish to swim near dry land, and it vomited Jonah onto the beach. Phew! So God commanded Jonah again, "Go to the city of Nineveh." This time, Jonah did not run away. He went there. He did what God asked him to do. He told them that they were doing the wrong thing and that God wanted them to turn back to him. And do you know what? That's exactly what they did. What an amazing story! God has plans for all of us, and they are good plans. Jonah found out that trying to run away from God really doesn't work at all. And wasn't it great that God gave Jonah a second chance to follow the plan that he had for him? And when he did, good things happened. Today, our craft is going to be to make a big fish with a wide open mouth for swallowing Jonah, and a message inside that tells us that God is always in control. He knows what his plans are, and they are always good. For this craft, you will need a plain piece of A4 paper, some pink and some blue paper. If you don't have that, you could use pink or blue colouring pencils or pens instead, something to write with, a pair of scissors and a glue stick. You need your plain piece of paper to be a square shape. So I've taken my A4 piece of paper, folded down one corner so that it meets the outer edge, and that will make a square. Then you cut along the line where the paper doesn't overlap. First, fold your square in half and make a nice neat crease down the middle. Fold it in half again. Make a nice neat crisp edge and then unfold it all completely. Now we're going to do the same thing but the other way. So we're going to fold it down in half with a nice crisp edge. Then fold it in half again. Make sure you've got a nice good fold. And then when you've done that, you can open it all out. Now we can see lots and lots of squares on our big square piece of paper. You'll need to cut your blue paper and pink paper into squares the same size as the small squares that you've just folded on your white piece of paper. You're going to need 4 blue squares and 2 pink squares. We're going to glue 2 of the blue squares, 1 on each top corner. If you don't have any coloured paper, you could just colour in your 2 top corner squares blue. On each of your remaining blue squares, draw a curved line from one diagonal to the other. Now we're going to cut along the line we've drawn. We want to keep the smaller part of the blue square. We're going to glue each of those curved blue bits in the bottom corner squares of our white piece of paper. With your 2 pink squares, fold them both in half diagonally. And when you've done that, you're going to cut along the line you just folded. That will give us 4 pink triangles. They're going to be the inside of the fish's mouth. Now we're going to glue our pink triangles in these positions here. Turn your piece of paper over, so now we can't see any of the blue or pink bits. We're going to take the top corner and fold it down so that it joins at the middle. So each of these corners are folding to the centre that we've already made from our previous folding. Now we should be able to see all the colours again. Next, we're going to take that and flip it over so that we can't see the colours anymore. So it's upside down again. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to fold each of the corners in so they meet at the centre. We'll be able to see some of our colours again as we do it. These pink bits are going to be the inside of the mouth. And when we fold these other sections, they're just going to be white. Flip your piece of paper over again. We're nearly done. Now we can see our blue sections. We're going to draw some teeth inside the mouth. So you can draw triangles or zigzag lines all across one straight edge on one side, and then the other straight edge on the other side. After you've finished drawing your teeth, open up your shape and you can write a message inside. We're going to write, God is in control, because in all situations, He's got it in hand. He knows what we're going to do and what He wants us to do, and He'll help us along the way. Fold it up again and then turn it over so you can see the blue shapes. You need to draw 2 eyes on the top blue squares, one on each one. Now you're ready to make your big fish come alive. Put your thumb behind one of the eyes and your finger behind the other, and your other thumb and finger in the other section. And here is your fish with its big jaws.